GM, GA, GE, wherever you may be. I am Lou, and on Lucky Trader Lounge today, we have a special guest, DeShone Kizer. You might know him from his days playing football. You might know him from Twitter Space and this new project that we're going to be talking about today called One of None. So, DK, first question for you. I think generally people that are watching might know your history on the football side, but I was interested in knowing how you got into the Web3 space. Maybe where did you start? How long have you been interested in it?
Yeah, so my journey into Web3 really started with one of none in mind. Honestly, we were setting out to build this new platform that could help creators like brands and artists and some of my athlete friends and entertainer friends start to find a way to capitalize on the secondary revenue that's generated from their pieces. And with that in mind, obviously there's a lot of parallels into Web3. So my kind of exploration started really back in where I really dove in was in February of 2021, but it was all from a technical learning how to hash, learning layer one versus layer two rollups and as many things as I could about how the technology worked to get it to really connect to what we were doing on the Web 2 side.
Yeah, and then you have a few other members on your team
Yeah.
who I know Kai Forbath, who also NFL player. How did you come up with the rest of your team? How did you get connected to them? And were they immediately like, I'm interested in this and hop right on?
Yeah, honestly, it hasn't been the beauty of one and done is it's such like a provocative style conversation to have with people that is actually has been great. Finding some great guys and gals to come join us. But the team is really it's three co-founders, and that one of them is my best friend from college, Pat Darche. And he was a finance major, just like myself in college. So I kind of leaned on him as my smartest friend I knew to help me kind of navigate through Mendoza as I was playing ball. And so our kind of similar entrepreneurial minds came back together on this specific idea. He then called his older brother, Mike, who's our third co-founder, also a Golden Domer, to be our full stack engineer. And he came in and has been developing with us ever since. And then from there, we picked up Kai in the middle of the summer of 2021, just through some similar relationships that we had that were in the NFT space. And Kai and I are in the same football agency. So when I was out in LA and I stay in Orange County during the off season, so when I was out there and kind of pitching this idea and troubleshooting it with some people in my circle and at my agency, they put me in touch with Kai. So we showed up at a networking dinner, and while everyone else was still trying to figure out what an NFT was, he was over there troubleshooting it hard from the NFT side. So once I was able to convince Kai that we were good to go, with kind of the idea that we had, I knew that if he were to join us, that he'd probably be one of our biggest evangelists, and that's exactly what he's been.
Yeah, I saw he's got the .eth on his username on Twitter, so that's usually the telltale sign that they at least have been around and know Web3 space in general. So let's get into the product itself. So it's called One of None. Where did that name come from? And is that really the core of the project itself?
Yeah. So the name we actually had the name well before we had the business. As the idea really stemmed from an experience that started with Brand Jordan. I signed with Brand Jordan my rookie year. I'm in the NFL and got this up close and personal look at these limited edition creations and launches of these limited edition sneakers. And through my experience being a part of their board of governors and really learning about how how they go about launching these limited edition products that have these unbelievable stories, and how they then go into the secondary market, I kind of found that there was that disconnect there. So when thinking about building a name and a platform and a brand around that disconnect and all these different styles of limited edition products, the first thing I wrote up on the whiteboard was one of X, meaning one out of however many. It might be a one of one, it might be a one of 10, it might be a one of 500. And that one of X kind of stood up on the whiteboard for a few days. And by the time we got to really troubleshoot an idea and fleshing it all out, and this concept that the products that we were discussing weren't just limited edition products. They weren't just one of ones. They weren't just one of fives or one of hundreds. These are one of none. There's nothing else like it. There's stories that come along with it. There's experience that come along with it. And that's what really separates the products that we were discussing that had this ultimate collectability, this kind of quality is what separated them from the West.
Yeah, and it's the type of thing that's big in NFTs right now is the idea of this like saturation where a lot of the PFP projects are out of 10,000 count or 20,000 count, but a lot of the one of one and smaller collections you can actually create sort of that community feel to it and be able to feel connected to the item that you purchased as well. So I have it on the screen right here. It's about the world of hybrid ownership, and like you mentioned, the one out of X. So explain a little about the sort of connection. As on here, you have a digital and physical Venn diagram that we're in the center of. So um, you call them hybrid assets. So let's talk a little about what makes them hybrid.
Yeah, so our assets, we believe, are the first to truly be both physical and digital at the same time. And by that, we mean while a lot of other digital physical twinning businesses have been coming about, majority of those use like a burn protocol where you exchange the token while the product sits in the warehouse or the fulfillment center, and once you turn it in, they burn the token and you lose track of the product. Or in the C2C market on the Web2 side, you have these physical products that go out and they go and they exchange hands in the secondary market, but you never really know where that product came from before. For us, this hybrid model truly allows our products to be one and the same in the sense that if you win one of these products either in the primary market via an auction or lottery or on some products a buy now button, or in the secondary market by bidding on the product, you first receive that token. And with that token, you have this ability to either redeem your physical, meaning we'll fulfill that product to you, in which at that time of redemption, we have an automated process that then takes your token and turns on the safe protocol that stops that token from being able to be transferred. So you can have that physical good and that digital good at the same time. In order for us to then allow that product to get exchanged in the secondary market, you can then send that physical back into us. We'll authenticate it, grade it, put it back in the vault, and allow you to go on with that token to exchange the ownership. So that ability to maintain that marriage, whether that product's in the vault or outside of the vault and redeemed into the real world, and we can truly keep that one-to-one marriage and truly allow those products to be fully hybrid.
Yeah. So there's only one, like in this example we're showing, the digital is this t-shirt that is serial number 1 and the physical t-shirt. So the way that it's designed is there might be 23 of these shirts,
Yeah,
but there's only ever going to be 23 of these shirts, and if you sell, it's basically a package deal selling each of
exactly.
these items.
Exactly. The way that our model works is every physical good or every digital good that you see on our platform does have that one-to-one relationship with the opposite. And meaning every NFT that we have is truly unique to one individual product. So, as you look at this t-shirt here, rather than thinking that you're buying maybe an 1155 token that may just turn into any of the random shirts, it's a little different than what we do. Our token is that shows that true ownership, that tracks that true digital life of one individual product that's represented as a physical good as well.
Yeah. Now say someone like me who's smaller who might get this good and I get the t-shirt, but then I sell the item and I sell it to someone who might be a large or extra large, like different size. When you get that item back, do you then create a new product specific to them? You had mentioned grading it. What's sort of that side of it?
Yeah. So with our products, we once again keeping that one-to-one relationship and having that true representation in the digital, that size is always going to stay and that product is always going to stay in the sense that every time that product gets sent back into the vault, we authenticate that product using RFID technology, NFC tags, and the invisible links, as many different points of verifications that we can come up with for individual products. We create this unique set of rules that allow us to authenticate that good. But most importantly is as that product comes back into our facilities, we also grade it from 1 to 5, with 5 being mint condition, have never leaving the vault, but then also going down into 4, 3, 2, and 1, where we now can take that chip that's on the side of the painting, or that stain that's in the T-shirt, and put that right into the notes on that physical good, or on that digital copy of the good that's on our platform, which then allows us to essentially create like a Carfax in a way for every product that has been either in or out of the vault, and track not only the quality but then also the ownership, the price history, and all the things that we see on NFTs in the digital space.
Yeah, that's interesting because they could have sort of a grade where then someone who wants to buy, you're probably more likely to buy something that has the higher grade to it, but that also probably is going to cost a little more. So that's part of the marketplace as well, which is kind of cool. And I wanted to get into so for listeners that are listening to the stream, how can they get involved? Because I saw there's the creator side, but also the buyer side.
Exactly. So yeah, we see this platform as two-sided, right? Where, as you mentioned, there's the collector portal into the platform or into the vault, and what that is this experience of having a marketplace that launches new products, a secondary exchange where you can then where every NFT that you see on the exchange is redeemable for the physical good. And then also your own collector portal into the platform that allows you to then convert your product from the physical asset or into that digital asset. But what we built to date is actually on the creator side of the platform, which is this invite-only application that our community of creators, so our brands, our artists, our trendsetters, these entertainers, these athletes that were able to build these really unique collectible goods, they also have a platform that's gated to them for them to be able to network with each other, collab with each other, then ultimately use our toolkit to build both the physical good, where we'll suggest to you manufacturing help and design help on the physical product, but then also on the digital good, where we'll use one of our templates in your digital asset, or connecting with another digital artist within the community to build out your digital asset, and that then goes on our smart contract to build the digital. And so for that side of the business, that's something we have up and going. But in terms of your listeners and how they can get involved, obviously it's on the collector side, where we've also are launching our first product will actually be our NFT, which is a membership-based NFT. It's the Vault Club NFT. And what the Vault Club is to us is our most loyal, our most committed members of our community and collectors on our platform that are interested in this intersection between that physical, hype beast, sneakerhead, physical art community and this digital world. And for those collectors, the NFT itself is actually going to be a hybrid asset, where you have the opportunity to redeem a physical form of the NFT that then becomes your access into our in real life events, such as galleries and pop-up shops of these hybrid products. But then also you can then use that card to purchase our Vault Club only merch and get early access to certain things. And so that new membership model is kind of going to another level with now having this ability to have this physical representation.
Yeah, and then if someone doesn't have the Vault Club membership, are they able to then get these items on secondary later, or do you still need this token first?
Absolutely. So anyone and everyone is able to buy the hybrid assets that are launched in the marketplace and exchange in the secondary. For the Vault Club holders, their kind of perks become on redemption fees and shipping fees, just like the Amazon Prime model on those rewards. But then also a buy now button to products that otherwise would be up for auction, up for lottery. Early access to some products to be able to benefit early at a lower price point. So those types of perks and those types of things are the utilities that we give that Vault Club membership, while everyone else does have the ability to come on and experience this new hybrid ownership model, whether or not you own an NFT or not.
Yeah, it's sort of the first people that have the opportunity to get this stuff, and sort of the discounts involved in that lifetime membership. And then that also can be sold at some point if you find yourself maybe not using it as much, or you want to use something else. So you have a few phases here on the
Yep.
roadmap, and this is specific to the Vault Club token itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a little different here. It's yes, it does
A
have to do
little of
with the small
both.
club token, absolutely, but it's more of a rollout on how the platform is coming out, being that we've been building the platform, well before we're even in the Web3 space.
Yeah. So as far as this Vault Club token comes out, do we have a specific launch date and mint process that we can let the people know?
Absolutely. So we're eyeing in the last week of March. We're trying to find the right data to launch it on. We're really early in the community and building it out, and really want to make sure we do it the right way. So we want to lean on our community to get feedback on the right way the product's going to go to market. But that being said, our plan here is to only do 1,000 cards. So it's going to be really exclusive, and we really want to roll these things out in tight groups and give utility that's in our opinion bigger and more tangible than anyone else in the game. And in order to find that right 1,000, we're going to do it in the form of a Dutch auction, where there's going to be a select grouping that will go to our whitelist community, of which is our creators and some of our people within the Web2 community that we're helping launch products, as well as some airdrops to the founding team. But majority of those products will then go out, and our cards will go out in a Dutch auction, in which we'll start at a 1 ETH price and then come down to a zero point 0.4 public mint. So it is a little higher price point, but the idea here is to be as exclusive as possible, being that the
Yeah.
products that we're launching are some of the most exclusive limited edition pieces that you can drop.
Yeah, and it's only 1,000 count. It's not like some of these projects that, as I mentioned earlier, like 10,000 count. So the exclusivity part is definitely something that's exciting to see. And I notice here that you guys have worked with Blake Jameson from the Knights of DGen team. He's the artist over there. Is
Yeah.
he going to be one of the first featured artists?
So we actually did a drop with him back in August of last year. It was one of the first things we ever did. A lot of our testing in that phase one you see there was all about learning about the collaboration process, learning about what goes into building these art pieces, what goes into launching these art pieces. And Blake and Mike O'Day over at Mini Garden really helped us out a lot with a lot of advice on that front. So we did this drop in which there was no token associated. But we did it as a way to start to educate on the ability to allow those products to stay in the vault. So Blake did his specific drop was those 5 T-shirts that are based on a print that he painted right in front of us and got a bunch of cool content on it. And then off of those 5 T-shirts, he did 23 editions, so a total of 115 shirts. And then to the collector, what we allowed them to do is decide whether or not they wanted to redeem that shirt now or vault the product, and when the marketplace comes out, they'll be the first collectors on the platform to have the first hybrid assets being airdropped into their wallet for them to go into exchange in the secondary. So we're coming up on that soon, shortly after the NFT drop. But yes, it had a lot of great experiences with Blake. There's going to be a lot of projects we work on together, but I'm excited that he will be the first ever hybrid asset ever launched on One of Nine.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. And as you mentioned, like this is a first of its kind in the way that it's going down. So I'm sure Blake's really excited to be able to say he's the first of those as well. And I wanted to just quickly mention to the listeners, if you guys have any questions, make sure to throw them in the chat, and I'll bring them up for DK to respond to. The next part I wanted to quickly touch on is you mentioned here the beta platform. Initially, are these only going to be able to be traded on things like OpenSea or LooksRare?
Exactly. You're spot on. So initially, we'll launch without the exchange, in which we'll have product profiles that can give you the story of the product, learn about the creator, as well as we're doing some game theory with some of the products, some unlock games in which if you collect one of each of the 5 T-shirts in the Blake Jameson collection, you unlock yourself an airdrop to a metal back print of the painting that inspired the shirt. And then with our art mob drop, if you collect all 5 skate decks, you unlock a pair of signed Kobe Bryant sneakers. So that whole drop was around Kobe Bryant Day. And those airdrops come in the form of hybrid assets as well, where you now have the token and the ability to redeem. So all of that information will be housed right on that beta platform. But yeah, up until let's call it summer of this year, I would say we'll be using OpenSea and using some other secondary exchange partners to be able to exchange the tokens until our exchange is ready to go.
Yeah, and so this is going to be specifically on Ethereum blockchain?
This is. We'll launch with Ethereum. We have a lot of plans on being chain agnostic into the future, but we'll launch using 1155s and 721 tokens.
Cool. Yeah, I know that that's always something people like to know on these things, especially depends on how many transactions. Like this isn't going to be very heavy transaction wise, but obviously with the redeeming portion, it is going to involve Ethereum. Just for people that if they don't already have a wallet, you're going to probably want the MetaMask wallet. You want to set that up beforehand in order to get in on these drops. So then I also wanted to touch on a little about what you guys have been doing from like a marketing standpoint, because um, you had mentioned that you guys were at NFT NYC last year. Is that correct?
We were.
And are you planning on going to that again this year? Are there other events that you're planning on going to?
Yeah, no, NFT NYC this year is what we have double circled as our launch event, where our
Oh,
plan is to build our first kind of hybrid experience in the form of what we're calling a hybrid gallery, where the goal is to bring some of these creators out of the collective and get them building some hybrid assets as well as some bigger brands to do some bigger drops and really focus in on that as being this first experience for both the Vault Club to be able to redeem their physical version of their Vault Club NFT and be able to show up to that event and get that real life utility at the event. But then also for us to really start to show the ability that we have of bringing new physical goods into the metaverse in this form of a physical shopping experience. Something that once again we believe is really never before done, and to be able to go into a physical in real life gallery and have an opportunity to either take home a physical good or simply swipe on a screen of NFTs of physical goods that are sitting in our vault to be able to take home tokens.
yeah, and I saw there's a place, I think it's in Boston, that I saw they're having it's a physical gallery, but all of the art there is NFTs.
Yeah.
But I see here with the metaverse integration is the long term goal to basically have a little of both, where you have the metaverse where someone can go on like Decentraland and see a gallery, but also the physical place that they can go and see the gallery.
That's exactly it, man. That's kind of that's the goal we're going for is to have these digital replicas of these physical items that are in the NFT or in the metaverse itself, where we'd have this concept of vault clubs, where it's a place for our NFT holders to be able to go hang out, show their art, and be able to sell their art and solicit new bids in those pieces, both in the metaverse and but then also obviously at these in real life activations that we'll do around some of the big moments in art and in the NFT world.
Yeah, and then I wanted to talk about the founders notes that
Yeah.
you've been doing. Are these regularly scheduled once a week? Is it just basically the update from you and the team?
Yeah. So early on we were trying to come out of stealth mode and do it the right way. And obviously, with my background being a professional athlete, there's a lot of distasteful ways that we could have gone out and tried to build a community around and what we're doing there. And we thought that the best way that we can really tell the story of one of none was through some thoughtful writing. So the first 7 founders notes there are really kind of the backstory of how we got to where we are, from the Brian Jordan experience to being out in Newport Beach with my co-founder Pat, and really hashing out a lot of the details and a lot of the experiences that we have now, kind of floating through the NFT community and really diving in there. And now moving forward, as we catch up to date, I think we'll start to bring in Mike and Pat, the other co-founders, as well, to give their 2 cents as to how Mike is bringing a lot of the same ideas that we've had over the last 2 months and applying that to the technology stack. To Pat and all the things that he's done on the RFID side and the verification side and authentication to make sure that our inventory management makes sense. So there's going to be a lot of that now starting to come in now that we've caught up on the story to where we're at today.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask about that a little bit with like the fact that you probably have a lot of good connections in general, but the fact that you are more of a recognizable name in face, that a lot of these big projects now get scrutinized decently. So how do you see the pressures of that and your way to move beyond some of these other athletes or celebrities that have come into the space and just get fudded just thinking that it's a cash grab? How are you avoiding that side of it?
Well, I've been here long enough to know exactly how that goes, and I've been a collector myself, and been a DJ myself well enough to understand what feels fuddy and what feels like you're going to get rugged on. And so with that in mind, we're obviously trying to build alongside the community and build with respect to the Web3 space. So you'll see that everything that we do at One of None, all of our team that we've been able to build, all the rollouts that we're doing are with the Web3 community in mind, because we are members ourselves. Every last one of the guys who are building here have been around the space for at least 6 months and really kind of understand how everything goes. And then from there, it's important to note that this isn't an NFT project. This is an idea that was here well before any of us knew anything about Web3, and was validated, and we were building well before we had any experience going out and understanding how Ethereum moves. And so with that being said, a lot of the platform that we've built to date and a lot of the ideas that we've been able to come up with have really we're really built for today's collector, and a bit of yesterday's collector in a way. So it's really approachable. It's really Web2 feeling. Our goal is really to be this bridge of new physical collectors into the Web3 space. And I think that authenticity will kind of show through how we then build the Web3 community that helps power that. Our community isn't a community that's looking to be exclusive into the Web3 space. We're looking to be inclusive and looking to open the door to a new group of collectors that are looking to understand the space, and kind of teaching them and educating them through something that, once again, is more approachable. Rather than trying to answer that question of what is this NFT worth at the dinner table with your family at the holidays, in which we have to sit there and decide whether or not we want to dive into the intricacies of blockchain and how the Ethereum network works. Instead, you can answer that question really precisely and really easily to start it off, and that's it's worth what the physical good is sitting in the vault. If I can have this physical representation, I can really get you to understand now the benefits of why the digital world is becoming what it's becoming.
Yeah, and that's something that it's odd that since I got into NFTs, I started collecting more physical goods at the same time. Like whenever there's a project where you can redeem it for the physical print for it, or
Yeah,
there's the hoodies and like the merch, like those are the types of things that I like to get involved with, because I feel like it's easier to also explain it to someone like you were mentioning at, say, like the Thanksgiving table, and people are asking you about like what's the point of that, and it's like, well, I have this digitally, but that allowed me to get the physical piece as well, and the ability to connect to some of these great artists and creators like a Blake. So when there is someone who is a creator looking to get involved, what's sort of their process? Can we get a little deeper in that side?
yeah.
Do they just fill out a form with maybe their history of other pieces that they've created?
Yeah, so this is an invite only community right now. Kai Forbath and I have been going out and really reaching out to as many people across a lot of the major markets as we can, to kind of build the core group of, let's call it 50 to 75 creators across all categories. And then from there we really want to hand over the gating to the community itself. So they'll elect themselves a board of governors or a collective committee, and that then will vote the next creators into the platform, which then will give them the access and opportunity to go launch these hybrid assets. And so a lot of that community building and understanding how these ecosystems are being built within these platforms, and really kind of being patient and learning from a lot of the other platforms that exist that are trying to power these creators. I think we've been able to build a very thoughtful experience for not only just the collectors, in which my hat's off to Looksquare and what they've been able to do and really disrupt the game with community first and that mindset first, but to take some of that makeup and apply that to the creator side, in which they now get this experience that feels exclusive, that feels like a membership, that feels like you're loved, and it feels like there's an opportunity for you to collab with people that you've never been able to collab with, and answer some of the questions as a creator that you've never been able to answer on your own, using people who are like-minded. And a lot of that will then foster new products and new projects and new things that may have never come about if they didn't have the opportunity to meet right there on our dashboard, using their social profile that allows them to collab and chat with each other.
Yeah, and so would you say the best way for someone to get involved and to start learning more about this would be to join the Discord, or would it be following on Twitter?
Yeah. Join the Discord. It's fresh. It's brand new. We threw it up last week as we were doing another Twitter space and thought it was the right time to get up there. And we're putting together a community team right now to really get the conversation up and alive. So that's the best way to learn. We'll use that as our true source of all things, Vault Club and all things one of none. Then ultimately, we want to use that Discord to make sure that as we finish up maybe this remaining 10% of the platform that we have left, and in terms of features and rollouts and branding, that we can lean on the community for feedback there, and we'll do that through the Discord chat and a couple different channels, and then ultimately we'll lean on the Vault Club and the NFT holders to then vote on proposed opportunities for us to make updates to the platform and to do some of these in real life activations as well.
Yeah. And then Hunter had a question here in chat. He's asking about, is there going to be some sort of whitelist access? Will anyone who's in the Discord, or will it be mostly public in that sense?
Yeah, so there will be at Whitelist Access. We put together our roles, and the way that we plan on kind of rolling out a few of these whitelist spots is through giveaways into those roles. And our early ones, our first 1,000 people to come into the group chat, we'll get an early ones role. That'll be kind of the first opportunity for you to benefit from giveaways such as these whitelist spots and merch and memorabilia from some of the athlete friends that we have in our vault right now, or some of the items that we're looking at to give to those communities. And the next step up there is a real one, which is our next roll up, and that's something that's earned. So whether that's through POAP at a space, or through referring us to someone, or finding a collective member for us, those are the items that'll be earned. So there'll be a little more or a little more products that'll be given away to that community. But yes, there is a whitelist. And we've sectioned off quite a few of those to the creators, knowing that those are going to be kind of the first movers in the platform to get us all excited for the products that they're going to launch. But we are allocating a good portion of those as well to the collectors, in which we'll be doing giveaways and give some unique opportunities for you to win those as well.
Yeah, that's always cool when projects do that, where it's not like just first come first serve. Like, you still have to sort of do something in order to get involved and show that you're part of it for the community. You aren't just clicking buttons to get on there.
Exactly.
So in this Discord, as it stands now, are there already a lot of the creators in there, and are they each going to say have their own channel that people are going to be? How do you envision the Discord setup?
Yeah, so for the creators, it's interesting because we refer to that community as the One Month Collective. So that's that invite-only community of all those creators I mentioned, but also the support partners like digital artists and smart contract guys, and there's a licensing attorney that's in there as well, that can really help you out with building out your products. But with that community and with that collective, a lot of those social networking elements are actually right in the dashboard itself, where you can chat, you can post to a feed, you can post opportunities to the whole community that they can then hit a collab button on and start to come up with some new ideas right there on the platform itself. So with the Discord and the creator role within the Discord, the collective role in the Discord really is their space to then connect and talk with the community, with the Vault Club. That's another really unique opportunity that we'll have within our community, is that we really want to lean on the collectors themselves to help us make the decisions on the types of products that we launch, the types of creators that make sense for the hybrid asset model. And in order to keep that conversation rolling and keep those communications alive, the Discord becomes a place now where those creators can come and ask those questions right to the collector, and whether it be in the holders only chat or also in the general section.
Yeah, and would you say, do you already have a list of that, maybe that first full month, you already have it all set up? And would you say most of them are the artistic side, like the art collector looks for, or are they going to be more for like a sports collector and like memorabilia?
Yeah, so there's going to be a healthy mix of it all, but we have leaned really, really high into the up and coming artists. We really think that this application, this platform, this infrastructure, is really built for the creator economy, in a sense that while brand Jordan and Nike and Adidas and those big brands were where we started this whole idea at, and really wanted to dive into the hype beast culture. there's a lot of players in that game, and those players deal with some bigger issues like counterfeiting and things that in botting and things that we don't necessarily want to dive too much into on the bigger brand side. But where the problem really resonates the most that we found in our research is in that up and coming artist. That's that person that's getting ready to turn the corner, that's been putting out really cool products. They're really starting to build their brand, and they know their products are going to appreciate into perpetuity, yet they only get paid one time. They did that commission for $10,000. They did that one event for $5,000, and now that product goes on, over 10 years to appreciate 10, 20, 30x over time, because they knew that, they knew the trajectory. Now this platform becomes that up and coming artists opportunity to now take those pieces that are around those big moments and capitalize on that lifetime value by launching them as hybrid assets with us. So we'll focus in on the artists first.
Yeah. And then John has a question here. He's asking, he wants to know what your dream product would be from one of none. Would it be cleats, jerseys, watches, or something completely different?
Yeah. So my dream product. I'm a car guy. I'm a classic car
Oh,
guy in general. Actually, I have a collection of 3 classic cars right now that I'm super excited about. And but outside of the classics, there's a huge industry obviously in the supercar space and these super collectible limited edition runs. And then if you bring that down into these collaborations that are going on between people like Kith and BMW, where they're taking these otherwise streetwear brands and bringing them into the car industry and doing these limited edition runs. I think that would be a really cool product. That this hybrid asset model makes a lot of sense on, being that there's a lot of car collectors that would die to have gotten their hands on that BMW kit when it first came out. And now that's what obviously propels the secondary market. So for us to one day be able to bring on, let's call it you know, let's call it a 911 Porsche, a limited edition 911 with a collaboration with some really cool brand, and there's only a hundred of them, and they're getting launched as hybrid assets. That would be the dream of one of them.
yeah, that's a cool answer, and I would guess that's not what John was expecting you to answer, 'cause that's the type of thing that this product that you're working on is able to do that others you can't really. Like, there've been some projects that say, "Oh, one of these collectors are gonna win a car," or something, but it would be way cooler if this just one of none in general gets those higher end collectors, and that's just the ability to get some of these higher end, like maybe these fancy older cars that they want to sell in general, and you sell it through the NFT first, and that confirms, because a lot of the issues in what NFTs bring is the ability for that ownership transfer, and I think that would be a really cool I don't know. I
Yeah,
think, there's gonna be different sectors of people. There's obviously with a lot of, these sort of projects, there's these lower end who maybe are just looking for jerseys of players, or like you mentioned, cleats. Whereas there's other high-end collectors that are looking to get something that's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth out of it. So do you see there being a big range like that of, people that are interested in one and none?
absolutely, absolutely, and that's because the products, in my opinion, that are truly one of none, they don't necessarily always come from a big price point at that initial sale, or from a big brand, or from a recognizable name. Some of those truly one of none products come early in people's careers, where they're not a high price point, and no one really heard about them. And that's really where this, once again, that platform of powering the creator economy comes to light. To think that a big brand, a Rolex or a Porsche, is going to come onto our collective app and use our toolkit to build out their hybrid asset would be really naive of me. But someone who
Yeah.
will really benefit from that platform is that person who, once again, is on the up and is learning about his craft and learning about their style, and want this new unique way of bridging into a new fan base. And then from there, the opportunity to then take those physical goods into the metaverse and now create this whole new brand and this whole new opportunity and this whole new connection into a new type of collector for a creator, and that type of creator becomes the right answer for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to see stuff like that play out. I know there's some other projects that, like Fractional Art. I'm not sure if you're very familiar with them, but these other ways that people can invest in the higher end stuff has been fractionalizing. But if you have, I mean, the whole one of none thesis, right, is that you're not splitting it up.
Exactly.
So it's interesting because there are collectors that want that side of it and don't want just one share out of 50,000 or however many. So it's cool that you could own that specific item in the metaverse and in real life. So that's
Exactly.
what I think is really cool about this is how you're bridging that gap. And as I mentioned before, I know a lot of people that they own an item, but they feel like they're less likely to sell it if they have a physical of it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you know about Rally Road much?
I do. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have, like, a piece of the Declaration of Independence from them,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm less likely to sell the digital portion of it because I have the physical, so it feels weird to then have the physical without the digital as well. So I
Yeah.
think that's what's cool about what you guys are doing, where it's like, well, pass them both into us, and
Exactly.
then we'll grade them. So, um, as far as the grading goes, how have you been going about that? Do you have people all over? Like, are you planning on international stuff? Is it going to specifically be in the US?
Yeah, yeah. So our vaulting infrastructure and our vaults, there's two locations that we're working on now. One is with a partner of ours is facilities out in Virginia. His name's Matt, and we have a location there. A lot of that is product dev. So he's a unbelievable product developer across all categories. So we've been using him to build out our merch and build out some really unique products that we're going to launch. And then the next location will be here in Nashville, which will be the next physical vault for us. So that's we're the goal there is to be decentralized in that as well, where you have this opportunity to send your product into something that's a little more local to you. And so while we're starting on the East Coast in Virginia, we're going to the central location here in Nashville, and the next location will be somewhere on the West Coast where we can start to now have an easier lead time on sending that product back in for grading. And then in terms of how we go about that grading, now we have experts across all categories that we've been able to partner with in those local areas to be the guys who do all of our grading for us. So from a local jewelry guy to the sneaker guy here in Nashville, we've been able to find some really cool advisors who can help us come
Mhm.
up with the right ways for us to grade out these products.
Yeah. And the beauty of it with how you're getting the creators are coming to you and you're going to know ahead of time what the product is, you can then go look for the people before you launch it. You could find the people that are able to grade it later on down the road. And the
Exactly.
beauty of NFTs is it is worldwide and people can be all over the world and be able to buy into it. A question I had for you that's a little different, but what's your favorite NFT that you own right now or that you've purchased at some point in time?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Knights of Degen, and obviously that's obviously one of my first friends in the space and first artist friends in the space is Blake, and got to know those guys through and through. But then after meeting all the team from Drew Austin and to Jared Augustine to Clay, you know that whole team across the board has is truly committed to the space, and they're committed to it in an angle that makes a lot of sense for a lot of the people that I'm around. So when I go to give examples of NFT projects that truly can show you the value of bringing a community together around anything, virtually anything,
Yeah.
I think that specific community hits home for me because it's sports. Obviously, it's betting, it's fantasy sports, it's a lot of in real life events, and now new to the table is media and content that they're putting together that's around a lot of the same communities I've been around. So
Yeah.
knowing, seeing that product go from Blake giving us some sneak peeks at the art through launching and now, building this unbelievable team of amazing minds that are going to continue to grow that's been my favorite hold that I've had.
Yeah, some of those guys are friends of mine. Clay, he specifically, we started up in basically the same Discord
Wow.
before we got into NFTs. Really, we started with Top Shot, and then connected through there. I met him last year. There was this like group meetup in Vegas, and all those guys on the Knights team, they're pretty fun guys to like hang out and just talk with.
Yeah.
They're pretty down to earth. So it's really cool to see when these communities can come together and connect basically through just a digital image even. So just the real world experience side of this is, I think, what's really cool. Do you guys plan on having these sort of events in real life at, maybe it's this NFT NYC, or just for our holders themselves?
Yeah, yeah. Our goal is to bring as much in real life utility as we possibly can. Obviously, being able to redeem that physical version of your NFT will be the first opportunity to feel that physical quality and start to see how the technology works. But then from there, rather than making a bunch of big promises as to a goal of having some sort of a vault club lounge, and that's really the goal, is to have some sort of a space where collectors can come and show off their goods, exchange goods, hang out, creative space where the creators then have an opportunity to build some of these hybrid assets together. That's the big picture vision. Our goal is to kind of roll that out in pieces, where you'll start to see the hybrid gallery early on, and more of a 2-day or maybe a single day event at NFT NYC, and then maybe you'll see something that's around Art Basel, and then we'll start to activate around a lot of the big moments throughout the year. With the ultimate goal that as we continue to build this Vault Club and build out this brand, that the people who are holding our NFTs are truly sorted out and filtered out to be some of the people who are truly the most interested in that intersection. There's so many ways that we can scale this business, both in the metaverse and in the physical space. And the only way for us to do it right is to be able to lean on that NFT community as our right-hand man alongside, or as we're building that. So, those in real life events are going to be our opportunities to now go and meet those people in person, and then make sure that physical experience is just as bespoke as the digital one that we put on the platform.
Yeah, and I feel like the growth of Discord, the whole last few years with COVID and people just inside more in general, that a lot of these people have grown relationships with other people that they've never met in person, you
Yeah.
know? So it's really cool to then put a face to it and be able to interact with these people who a lot of times you're spend in a way, 12 hours a day talking to these people or in some form or another. So it's really cool to have those types of events. I think NFT NYC, I didn't go last year, but I think it's one that starting to come out that maybe I should go to. We were planning on going to this NFT land that's in
Yeah.
Vegas next week, and then they canceled the events for it. And then I know the South by Southwest that's coming up as well. So it seems like there's a lot of these events in ways that people are trying to make that, um, basically kind of what you're doing is bridging that gap, but it's the physical and digital relationships in a way. So I think that's really cool and look forward to that as well. Is there anything that we missed that you were hoping to talk about? I don't want to miss anything while we're
No, I
already.
think we got probably a lot further than my co-founder is going to be happy that we got. But
Yeah.
but no, I think that's it in a nutshell. As a kind of a final thought on where we are today and how excited I am today about building a community. You know, to make a big decision to transition out of ball and go after something big. There's been a lot of opportunities along the way, especially being so early in NFTs, to do some cash grabby things. If you have a bunch of athletes and entertaining friends, and you're networking around that space, we've had plenty of opportunities to do purely digital products and try to hop in. But knowing what we've been able to learn from a lot of our mentors and a lot of the communities we've been around, that was the last way that we should be getting into the space.
Yep.
So the thought to come into this world, and to transition out of another one that was obviously a lot of lights and glory and a lot of great times. I only wanted to do it if it was for something that was massive. I didn't want to do it for something that was small, not a little small monetary win, but something that could truly be transformative. And to build this ecosystem that has this flywheel effect of taking these creators and allowing them to launch these really cool, dope collectible products, and allowing these collectors to have this unbelievable, new age hybrid ownership experience, but allow that experience to then repower the creator community through royalties, in which they then can launch new stuff to you. That community is what we're looking to build here, and that's where we're at the very beginning of. I like everyone loves to say how
Yeah.
early we are in NFTs, but I really think that we are very, very early in this new bridge that's being built between these real world items and what's happening in the metaverse.
Yeah. And feel free to say no to this question, but do you have any people on the radar who are already set up as being the artists or creators who people might know in chat that while we have you on stream, are you able to give out any of that alpha?
That's the only alpha that I got to hold in. Once again,
Okay.
I probably went a little too far on some of the other tech stuff, but it is what it is. I want to be as transparent as possible when it
No,
comes
that's
to
fair.
creators. We have a big rollout plan on how we want to start to shed light on the people that we've been working with to date, some of these newer folks that we're bringing in, and then obviously some of the big dogs that we're going after. And there's a bit of a rollout that we want to kind of save so that the collectors can kind of feel it all at once.
Yeah. And then we have a question from Womans Bethany. She is a big ACC fan. She has the question: who are you taking Notre Dame versus Virginia Tech game tonight in the ACC tournament?
Come on, guys. We saw Notre Dame do it. I mean, it's when I had the ability, the fortunate opportunity of being at Notre Dame when Notre Dame basketball was really hot, from Demetrius Jackson to VJ Beacham to Marty Bonzi. We had a great team and went pretty far in the NCAA. But if there's one thing I do know is no matter how far we go in the NCAA, you're going to get the best out of us in the ACC. I think that's what we saw this year, leading the ACC for a few games. And I think that this is our tournament. It's always been our tournament. So there's only one way that this game's going tonight, and that's to the Irish.
Nice. That's a good response. I think I'd be concerned if you said the other way. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's cool. Like, do you feel yourself very connected to anything Notre Dame related just from going there and being a part of it for so long?
Oh yeah, literally all things Irish. Like
Yeah.
that making that decision to go to Notre Dame was um, more special than I could ever have imagined making it at 17 years old. But to now look back on that experience as a quarterback there, I truly only put it next to maybe being the Green Bay or the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers or the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Other than that, I don't know if you can point to anyone else in any other professional sports team that has that responsibility and that respect of the Notre Dame quarterback. A
Yeah.
true international brand. If we're not your favorite team, we might be your most hated team. But if we're not your most hated team, I guarantee you we're your second favorite team. It's just so easy to root for the Irish. It's so easy to root for God country. And so to have that experience, I mean, I'm attached to literally all things Irish. I'm through and through.
Cool. Yeah, maybe we'll see some Notre Dame one of none products coming up and be able to be a part. So
You're making some good guesses over there as well.
yeah. So cool. Well, yeah, thanks. It's been a pleasure having you on. I don't want to hold you up too much longer. We're almost at an hour here. But yeah, I think if people are watching and want to be involved, I'm gonna put in the show notes all the different links for one of done and to your Twitter. And if you're fine with it, I could put the Discord link in there as well.
Yep.
And get more people involved. It seems like people in chat, we have some this is awesome, great show, guys. Womans is now talking about Duke. She's a Duke fan, so that's
There we
where
go.
that came from. And I'm sure she's been big on the Coach K stuff recently as
Oh
well.
yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate having you on, and definitely something that we plan on watching the journey of one of none, and hopefully we'll be able to do something like this again and be able to keep up with what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. I look forward to keeping you guys updated. I would love to come back on once we're up and launched, and I can give you a little more info on exactly how the community is going to roll out.
Yeah, and maybe some more. We'll find out more of the artists and
There you go.
creators involved then.
There you
So
go. Yeah.
cool. Yeah. All right, guys. And then we will be back later today. We're just going to do a regular NFT show. Not as exciting as this interview, but if people are interested, we'll be back on at 4:30. So like about a half hour here. And yeah, I'll be adding the audio link to this as well. So if people weren't able to hop on during the stream today, but still interested, we'll be posting that. So thanks for hopping on. We'll see you guys next time.